All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, they work in your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Yeah.
All right, what's happening, everybody? Welcome to Easy Money, a sports betting show, Thursday, November 30th, 2023. I'm Chris Gonzalez, joined by Tony Gonzalez. How's it going?
Well, pretty good. Not too bad, I don't guess. Well, my picks went real great last night, but
I didn't have a real. I went 3-4 last night.
I went 3-6. So
Went 2-1 in the NBA, 0-2 in college basketball, and 1-1 in hockey.
1-2 in NBA, 1-2 in college, and 1-2 in hockey. So not real great. Last 2 days been pretty rough, and Monday wasn't nothing to write home about.
We'll get back to some football tonight. Maybe I'll change it up a little bit, even though there's only one game tonight. But let's see. How's it going, Billy? How's it going, Glenn?
Yep. How's it going, guys?
Billy said he had the Magic Lakers, Nuggets, and Suns, which beat them.
Suns. Yep.
All right, get back over to here.
What do you think the hardest sport to bet on is? I think it's the NBA. College basketball stuff.
I was gonna say either NBA or college basketball. NBA because I think the NBA is one of the hardest because one you never know who's going to play and what if a team's going to play hard that night or not. Because I think this year's a little bit better because I do think the in-season tournament thing has helped a little bit with some of the games players playing a little harder in those games than what we've got in the past during the regular season. But that's still, I think that's hard. And in college basketball, just because there's so many damn teams, it's hard to keep up on all the teams and who's playing, who has injuries, who's been. So I would say probably them two. I like betting on the football. I like betting on baseball too. I think baseball is a good one because you got a lot of different things you can go by, and baseball pitching is so important. So you can kind of base some of it off pitching matchups and stuff like that. I mean, I don't watch a whole lot of hockey, but I've been having pretty good luck on my hockey picks. But yeah, I would say NBA and college basketball. Speaking of baseball, real quick, Reds made a couple moves last couple days.
I know I've seen the
signed a starting pitcher.
Oh, did it? I didn't see that.
Nick Martinez was with the Padres. Had a 2.32 ERA last year, and I think 40 appearances or something. 40. They signed him to basically I think a 2-year deal, but he has an option, so it's basically a 1-year deal, and then he can opt in. I think this year he'll make like 15 million, 16 million, and he could opt in next year for another 12 to 15 million or something. And then I like the reliever they got in Pagan. He's a hard thrower. I think he'll help our bullpen. So they have made a couple moves there with the pitching to try to improve the pitching staff, which needed to improve some, but some last year injuries killed us last year in the pitching department a lot as well. But I do like to see him at least making some moves.
Well, I've been reading they're interested in Bieber. That they've been having talks with Cleveland about Bieber. What do you think about that?
I wouldn't be against that. The guy I want him to go get, I know it's unpopular opinion, but I want him to bring Trevor Bauer back.
I agree 100%.
I think he still has a lot left, and I still think he has something left, and you can get him probably you're going to get him at the best deal you're going to be able to get him at because of everything that happened. And he played overseas last year. I think if you add a guy like him to what we have, that'd be big. And he was good when he was in Cincinnati. He had one of his best years. Everybody in Cincinnati loved him. The players in the clubhouse liked him. I know that he's had a bad rap at other places, but when he was with the Reds, it seemed to work.
Yeah, I would love that pickup. I guess they tried to get Sonny Gray. Didn't work out. Now they're interested in Bieber, supposedly. Do you think they're still interested in Bieber after signing Martinez?
I think they could still be.
There's a lot of question marks with the pitching staff. Not that when the guys were healthy, they did fairly well, but that's the problem. Are they going to stay healthy? I mean,
yeah, they got to stay healthy. IU hired a new football coach.
Yeah, I was hoping for Gruden, but
it
sounds like they got a good young guy.
Not John Gruden, but they hired Sangetti. He was at James Madison. James Madison just came up from Division II or whatever, Division I this year, and they're they end up losing one game, and they are going to get to go to a bowl game. But before that, I know he was at Elon. He's had quite a bit of success with some of them smaller teams like that. So it'll be interesting to see what he can do at IU. But the whole thing, I hate to say this because I'm an IU fan, but does it really matter who our coach is? Unless we're going to start spending money in NIL like all these other teams are, I don't think it matters who your coach is. Matt Rule came out yesterday, or it might have been yesterday or today, in a press conference talking about how if you want to get a good quarterback in college through the transfer portal, it's going to cost you $1 million, $1.5 million to $2 million is what it costs to get a good quarterback. Well, is IU ever going to be at the point where we're going to spend that kind of money on NIL to get players in like that where we can compete? If not, it don't matter who the coach is. Not in this current landscape of college football.
Okay, and I agree with you, and I don't think. Let's be honest. In my opinion, I don't think most IU fans expect them to ever compete for a championship. I think what they would like to see a 7-8 game win season and make the bowl every year. Now, do you think that's legit? Do you think that's a fair statement, or
no? I think that's a fair statement, but I don't think you can. I don't think you can do that without starting to pay some of this NIL money and bringing in some of these better players, especially with the Big Ten conference changing. I mean, now you're going to 18 teams. They're going to do away with this division thing. I'm not sure if they're going to split them up into different divisions, how all that's going to be, but that's going to be different. When you're in a conference like that, if you can't compete in your conference, it's going to be hard to be able to get to a bowl game.
What do you think went wrong with his last coach? He had some he had some shiny moments. It looked like when he first got the job and started out, it looked like they were moving in the right direction 100%, I think. What went wrong?
Losing Penix is a big part of it. You lost your quarterback. Some injuries hurt him that year. They had that good year, and then Penix comes back, injuries, and then Penix ends up leaving. I think losing that offensive coordinator hurt him too. I mean, we see what he's doing in Washington with that offense, and IU's offense was looking kind of like that. I mean, we were looking good. So I think that, and then it's just with the transfer portal, it's hard to it's hard. It's already hard. It was hard for IU to get some of the bigger name players, some of the top talent, and then with the transfer portal now, it's so easy for players to leave. You can transfer every damn year. It's hard. It's hard to keep them players because they see a team like IU starts having success when these bigger teams come pluck those players away, and I think that's a big part of it. I mean, look, the guy, that quarterback from Clemson, Ugalele, or I know I butchered the name, but he left there, went to Oregon State. Well, now he's back in the transfer portal again, going to transfer to another team.
I think that should be limited.
I would be surprised that quarterback from Duke if he don't transfer. I think there's a good chance he might end up he might go Texas A&M with that Elko, the coach that just left Duke. You know what I mean? So it's just, I think there has to be some kind of rules on the transfer portal. You shouldn't be. It's basically free agency. You shouldn't be able. You shouldn't be able to transfer.
I think if you leave and go somewhere
every season.
If you leave and you stay there for a year and you want to leave after a year, you should have to sit out a year. I think you have to sit out a year.
They have to figure out some stuff on that, and like the NIL, I like what the NIL was supposed to be. I think players should be able to make money off their name, image, and likeness, but that's not what it. But what it's turned into is not what it was supposed to be. Now it's just turned into let's bribe and pay and pay these high school kids. Let's bribe them and pay them as much money as we can to get them to come to us. That's not what it was supposed to be. It's supposed to be you got a guy like C.J. Stroud that's at Ohio State. He's playing well. He should be able to make money off his name, image, and likeness. I agree with that 100%, but that's not what it's turned into. It's turned into basically pro football, which if that's what it's going to be, they need to get away from the NCAA and set rules of how it's going to be. That way it's a little more competitive, because you're going to get to a point where you're only going to have certain colleges are going to be able to compete anymore, because it's basically going to be, if you have money, you're going to be able to have a chance to compete. If you don't have the NIL money and boosters and all that, you're not going to have that. You're not going to have a chance to compete.
Put a cap on it, how much you can spend. There's something I don't know. Real quick, back to the Reds for a second. Do you like the Martinez pickup?
Yeah, I like the pickup. Don't get me, like I said, Sonny Gray would have been nice to bring him back. Which we never got rid of him, but I think Martinez was a good pickup out of the guys that are left. I still, like I said, I would love for them to get Bauer. I still think that'd be a great pickup for us this offseason.
If they didn't, well, I agree. I think Bauer would be perfect. What do you think about if they did go after Bieber? Would you be happy with that?
Yeah, I'd be fine if we can get a guy like Bieber. But yeah, just to seeing the Reds being active and making some moves, that's all. Trying to improve. That's all I ask for. I'm not like some of these other. If you don't get this guy, it's a failure. No, if you're, at least they're out there trying to improve. In years past, we haven't done that. So at least looks like we're making an effort. That's, as a fan, that's what I want to see. I want to see my team, at least I want to feel like they're making an effort to get better. And last year we were way ahead. Last year we were way ahead of what anybody thought we was going to be. I mean, I'm a big Reds fan. I know we ended up not finishing like we wanted to, but that was a good season for us last year, especially compared to where we were at the year before, losing over 100 games and everything.
Barely got beat out by Arizona.
Yeah, by 2 games. I mean, and we'd have won our last 2 games of the season. We'd had Arizona's playoff spot. They went to the World Series. We swept the Rangers. We'd swept the Rangers in the regular season in the series, if I remember right, we swept the Diamondbacks in this in a series as well. So Glenn, I hope the Jets win this weekend. I want to see Roger. I want to see him try to. I want to see him get on the field and try to play. I do. I want to see it.
Speaking of that,
He's already practicing. Just being on the field practicing already after 11 weeks or whatever. What? Yeah, like 11 weeks, 79 days or something. That's just remarkable.
I've seen some reports. I don't know if you've seen them, but I can't remember, so I'm not going to say a name because I don't remember the name. Accusing Rodgers and the Jets of both being liars.
Oh yeah,
there's no way that he had that injury. There's no way he could be coming back in 79 days. It's not impossible. It's not possible. What do you think about that?
I've heard that. I've heard rumors and people saying that he never tore his Achilles and this. It don't make sense. Why? Okay, let's say this. Okay, he didn't. What would be the point of faking a tearing your Achilles and missing this whole season? He's 39 years old, getting to be 40. It's not like he has 15 more years to play football. What would he be gaining? I don't. You know what I mean? What's he gaining by that? For one. For two, you mean to tell me with all the money and all these people that are involved that you'd be able to keep that if you were going to try to do something like that it wouldn't come out? I mean, how many doctors have looked at his MRIs between the Jets doctors, his doctors, trainers, personnel? You know what I mean? There's just too many people involved to me, and it don't make no sense. Why? You're not gaining nothing. As if you're the Jets, you're not gaining nothing because now look at the season you're having. If you're Rodgers, you're not gaining nothing because you're losing a season of being able to play. So yeah, that's just people that he's trying to do something that's never been done. So people are of course going to try to poke holes in it and find ways. Plus, it's not like he's the most likable player in the league.
He don't give a shit. Let me ask you.
And what people say, oh, it's not possible. It's not possible. Well, 10 years ago, if you tore ACL, a lot of people thought your career was over. Look how quick people come back from that now. Things change. Medicine gets better. We learn more information. Things get better. Now, am I saying he's ready to come back? No, I don't know. But I would say that the doctors and the trainers around him must feel like that he has a chance and that it's not a big risk, or I don't think he would step out there, or that the Jets would allow him to step out there with all the money they're paying him. So it's interesting. And I'll tell you what, I saw some footage of him at practice yesterday moving around and stuff, and it's remarkable and crazy to think that, hey, just 3 months ago this dude, or not, well, yeah, about 3 months ago this dude is popped the Achilles.
Billy Buzz is asking, how long does it usually take in reality for an injury to heal? Probably 9 months for that.
And I think I think Akers was the quickest one to come back, and I think he came back in I want to say 6 months or something like that. Wasn't it 6 or 7 months? I think. But like Glenn's saying, it took Kobe almost 2 years to come back when he had his Achilles. Klay Thompson missed over a season when he had his Achilles.
I think Achilles for an NBA player would be tougher than an NFL player. What do you think? Because of the jumping and the running, where a quarterback, it's different movement.
It's different movement. But I mean, this would be way ahead of Billy. This would be way ahead of schedule if he's able to come back. He'd be the first player ever to come back in the same season as well from rupturing an Achilles.
Now, what if he comes back? Boom, first game and then re-injures it. I mean, the Jets are going to be panned, and he's going to be panned. Oh yeah, everybody's going to jump on him. But if he comes back and he plays good and don't, then it's going to be the other. Oh, yeah.
It's going to be the
Yeah.
other way.
Who would I think the Jets would get panned more for taking that risk, wouldn't you think?
In a way, but also there'd be a lot of people jump on Rodgers just
Yeah,
because
there'll be
everybody
people
hates
jump-
him because
people gonna jump on
people hate
Rodgers
him
and
because
think-
he'll talk about the vaccine and or against the vaccine. He'll talk about this. So people already don't like him anyways. That'd be another reason for them to really try to bury him. And a lot of the media uh, don't like him either. Like I said, I'd like to see him out there and play, but I want him to be healthy. I don't want him out there. There's no reason to be out there if you're not healthy. And I don't see him getting out there if there's no hope at all. Right now, there's a slim chance that the Jets could even make the playoffs. And if it gets even worse, what's the point of taking that risk of maybe getting out there and getting hurt? But hell, you could. And on the flip side of that, he could wait till next season, come out there and three plays into the season, pop it again. I mean, you never know. And and I've always been a kind of a Rodgers fan anyway. So that's the other reason I'd like to see him come back and do good and prove people wrong that you're not as crazy as everybody thinks you are.
I don't. As a player, I think he's great. Personality wise, I'm not a big fan of his, but it's not because of any of his beliefs or anything. You can believe what you want. You got a right for your opinion. I just think he comes off kind of like an asshole, but I mean, he's a great player, and and I don't have to deal with him, so I'm not worried about him. I look at him as a great player. I hope he comes back, and like you said, I hope he proves me wrong. And I'd love to see the Jets make the playoffs.
Yeah, and I think some of the way he comes off too is because some of these guys get so guarded against the media and stuff as well, and not just him. There's other players I feel like come off a little bit like that, and I think some of it is because everything they do and everything they say is took different ways by different people and ran with.
I just don't think personally. I don't think he has a great personality. He's pretty dry to me. I mean, I mean that's not again. I mean that's me. I'm sure there's a lot of people that love him, and I'm not. I don't hate him. I'm just not my. I watch McAfee. He's one of my least favorite interviews. There's a lot of other people I'd rather see McAfee have on, but I'm sure he's doing very well. A lot of people watch him on there. So.
Oh yeah, Billy, you're right on the field, man.
Yep.
That's the reason I've always been a fan is because of the stuff that he can do on the field.
Hard-nosed competitor always has been. I mean, you got to respect that, especially as soft as a lot of the people are nowadays.
Speaking of that, big game night in NFL. We'll start with NFL for the picks. Seahawks out the Cowboys.
That was tough for the points, but
let's see. Cowboys are 9.5-point favorites, minus 460 on the money line. The Seahawks are plus 360 on the money line. Over-unders at 470 or 475. 47.5. There's 475 points scored. 47.5. I'm going with the Seahawks and the points here at the plus 9.5. I think this could be a trap game for the Cowboys because they have Philadelphia next week. I think this could be a game they could be looking ahead a little bit. Seattle has got a little healthier on their offensive line. I wish Walker was playing at running back. That does scare me a little bit. But I think Seattle's defense with their zone coverage could slow this Cowboys offense down a little bit. I think the Cowboys win the game, but I think it's going to be a closer game than a lot of people are expecting. So I'm going with the Seahawks at the plus 9.5.
I'm gonna go opposite, and the reason is because Seattle is banged up with Walker being out. Lockett also is banged up. The connection with the quarterback and Metcalf has been really inconsistent this year. I like Dallas's defense. They're at home. That's a lot of points, but I'm going to take Dallas minus 9.5. And Seattle's been pretty inconsistent. They were actually, for a Seattle team, they've had trouble putting up points this year at times.
And I'm also gonna go with the under the 47.5 in this game. I think it's going to be a little bit of lower scoring game than what people are expecting. And prime time games, the unders hit like I think it's like 21-6 or something this season. The unders on primetime games have been hitting all year. So I'm gonna go with the Seattle plus 9.5 and then under the 47.5. Billy, which Billy says go Cowboys, and he said he's gonna bet it down to 8 points with a few NBA teams. Glenn says Pacers money line tonight. Hopefully, Pacers play a little better tonight than they did their last game. All right. Speaking of Pacers, let's jump over to the NBA. I had a few games for tonight. First game I'm going with is going to be the Charlotte Hornets at the Brooklyn Nets. The Nets are 8.5-point favorites. They're minus 360 on the money line. Hornets are plus 290 on the money line. Over under is at 218.5. Or excuse me, 224. I looked at the wrong game. 224. I'm gonna go with the Brooklyn Nets at the minus 8.5 in this game at home against the Hornets. Next game, Indiana Pacers at the Miami Heat. The Heat are 2.5-point favorites, minus 142 on the money line. The Pacers are plus 120 on the money line. Over under for this game is at 238.
So it's 238 now.
Yep. I'm going with the Pacers on the money line as well as like Glenn said. But I'm also going to go with the over the 238 in that game. Pacers score a lot of points, but their defense can give up a lot of points as well. But Jimmy Butler is questionable for the Heat tonight as well, as Glenn just mentioned. So yeah, I'm going with the Pacers money line, Heat over 238. And then other pick in the NBA, I'm going with the Milwaukee Bucks at the minus 8.5 against the Chicago Bulls. Bucks are minus 375 on the money line. The Bulls are plus 300 on the money line. Over unders at 229. I like the Bucks at the minus 8.5. And then my last game is going to be Utah Jazz at the Minnesota Timberwolves. Timberwolves are 10.5-point favorites, minus 620 on the money line. The Jazz are plus 460. Over unders at 221. I'm gonna go with the Timberwolves at the minus 10.5. They've been playing some good basketball, and the Jazz are a young team that's kind of been struggling to find their way. So I'm gonna go with the Timberwolves at the minus 10.5.
In my NBA for tonight, I went different. I did all over and unders tonight. I've been struggling, so I thought I'd change it up. But right off the bat, I disagreed with you. I went with the Indiana-Miami game. I went with, well, at that time I seen it was under 239.5. I liked it a lot better, 239.5. I'm going to stick with the under 238. Then I have Atlanta at San Antonio. What I had was under 245.5. I don't know what it is now.
What game?
San Antonio and Atlanta.
FanDuel has it at 247.5. What did you have it at?
245.5. 247.5. And then I have the Lakers, OKC, and that was under 233 is what I had it down as.
FanDuel, yep, 233 is what FanDuel has at.
So that's my two picks.
If you're going to bet if you're going to bet games, look at different sports books too, because you can get like the odds I'm going by are on FanDuel, but if you look at DraftKings, look at ESPN Bet, because I know ESPN Bet, they've just kind of started theirs. And I've heard you can get better odds on things on there. I know, like just between FanDuel and DraftKings, like in UFC, a lot of times you can get better at different books. So don't just look at one book and go with them odds, because like he had said, that one was at 248. It might still be at that at a different sports book. So you always want to look at different sports books, because they vary, and you can get better odds on the same game sometimes at different ones. FanDuel is what I started with, so that's the one I usually just look at. But Like I look at ESPN bet, and stuff like that. If I'm going to place bets, hey, try to get the best number you can get. College basketball, I'm going tonight. I got 2 games, or no, excuse me, 3 games. I'm going Creighton minus 7.5 at Oklahoma State. Oregon State minus 2.5 against UC Davis, and Butler minus 2.5 at home against Texas Tech. They're going to be my 3 games for college basketball tonight.
I didn't do any college basketball tonight. I just went with the NBA, well, NFL, NBA, and NHL.
I'll get it to switch over. NHL, I'm going with the Maple Leafs money line against the Kraken, Lightning money line against the Penguins, the Blues on the money line against the Sabres, and the Stars on the money line against the Flames.
Okay, my NHL picks for tonight, I've got Chicago at Detroit. I'll take Detroit money line. I got Florida money line at Montreal, San Jose at Boston. I'll take Boston money line, and I got Vegas money line at Vancouver.
Staying away from Vegas.
Yeah, they've been killing me lately, but I got
last couple nights they've
lost in overtime the last 2 games. Having trouble. Well, they didn't have too much trouble scoring the last game, but the games before that, they've been having a lot of trouble scoring goals recently.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Rumors are getting higher and higher that Harbaugh's going to be with the Bears. What do you think? What do you think about that? I think it's a great move for the Bears.
It could be a great move for the Bears. But I've seen, and it don't mean anything. I've seen some mock drafts and got the Bears taking the quarterback from USC.
Well, right now, anybody that the media right now, anybody that has a number 1 pick, they're going to say that they're taking Caleb Williams.
Why?
That's the guy that all these guys on TV and everybody thinks is the best. They think a lot of people will tell you that he's the best quarterback prospect that they've ever seen.
Have they seen him play this year? he got broken in the Notre Dame
Maybe
game.
not. Maybe their eyes aren't working very well this year.
The thing that worries me about that too is a lot of defenses in that league that he's playing against ain't that good, and he struggled in some of those games against not very good defenses. Notre Dame's a decent defense. I wouldn't call them a great defense, and they broke them in the first quarter.
Yeah, I'm not sold on them as the especially not the best quarterback prospect I've ever seen.
Last year, if he'd have came out, I could have seen him as the number 1 pick. What after you seen him play last year, would that been a possibility for you?
Yeah, I think if he came out last year, he would probably been number 1 pick.
But right now, I think it's if you're going to take a quarterback, I think it's the guy from Oregon.
And I've said this earlier. I really like Bo Nix.
I think he's NFL ready.
Penix was warning me a little bit because if you look at his numbers, his last few games, he's only been completing like 50% of his passes. His numbers went down here the last few weeks.
Went down a lot because he was one of the best in the league.
And I know it depends on what team you go to and what system and who you get with, but I mean, do I now? If you put Caleb Williams with Harbaugh, could that work? Yeah, I think it could. I think it could work, but I mean, look what Harbaugh was able to do in San Francisco with Kaepernick.
Yep. I just worry about everything was quiet his junior year, and he had such a great year, and then he comes in and his personality changes, and he's running his mouth and saying crazy stuff, and his play went down. I worry about that.
That's the other thing. Is starting to say he wants ownership and this and that. It's like, dude, you're getting a little ahead of yourself. You ain't even played 1 game in the NFL to show if they you're going to be good in the NFL. I mean, people can say, "Oh, he's the best prospect I've ever seen." Well, I've heard that about a lot of people. They got to the NFL and didn't do nothing. Jamarcus Russell, remember all the hype about him coming out? What did he do in the NFL? Ryan Leaf.
Everybody wanted the
I mean,
Colts to
hell,
take
Ryan Leaf.
Leaf.
People thought the Colts made one of the worst decisions by going with Peyton over Ryan Leaf.
They wanted to take Ryan Leaf, and they wanted to take.
And the next year, Ricky Williams over Edgerrin James. So I mean, it's and look at Brock Purdy. I mean, look how he's playing in the NFL, and he was the last pick in the draft. I mean, so there's no exact science to it.
I'll be honest. I thought the Colts, when they made the pick of Manning, I thought it was a no-brainer. I liked Manning over Leaf, but I will say on paper, at the time, I liked Williams.
Oh yeah,
better
I mean,
than I did.
Well, yeah, I think everybody knew a lot more about Williams
yeah.
than they did James,
Yeah.
and
But
yeah, I was always on the side of Manning. But yeah, I agree. The Williams and James, and really you couldn't really go wrong with either one, because it wasn't like Williams was a bust either. I mean, he was a good now. He was a little bit of a head case, but he was a good running back. And I think he'd have been good running back if you would have had him there in Indianapolis with Peyton and the other weapons that was around too. So.
Yeah, Glenn, I agree. I don't think Frank Reich will ever be.
I don't know. I think he might. I don't know. I don't think it'll be next season, but I mean, I think there's a chance.
Something was up here a minute ago on TV watching Fox Sports 1, talking about the quarterback from New England,
Jones.
Do you think he's done? I mean, as far as I think he's done in New England. Where do you think a good landing spot to get an opportunity at would be? And I'm not even saying necessarily the opportunity is starting quarterback walking in the door, but maybe an opportunity.
Yeah, he's definitely, I would say, done in New England, because they're.
Think Pittsburgh?
I only think he's not even going to be the backup this week. If I think he'll get a chance somewhere to be. I think he'll get a chance somewhere to probably be like a backup.
First is what I figure, and then maybe get a.
But yeah, I don't see anybody picking him up to be their starter. Not right off the bat. His best chance is going to be to get somewhere, be a backup, and then hope that you get in and get a chance to play.
Get somewhere and at least say, hey, at least put me in a competition and see if I can beat out somebody.
Yeah. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm getting to the interesting part of the NFL season, and then NFL offseason is going to be interesting, because there's going to be some quarterbacks on the move. There's going to be some coaches. Belichick, Belichick going to be back in New England? I think he will be. I don't think they're going to part ways from him yet. But if they do part ways from him, I think there's a good chance that Belichick could end up maybe with the Chargers and with Justin Herbert. And if I'm Jim Harbaugh, and I'd be looking, if that Chargers position comes open, that'd be the one I'd really be interested in.
I agree with you. On your take about who would maybe end up in New England.
I think Vrabel is probably going to end up there.
I think that'd be
if they move on from Belichick.
I think that'd be a perfect pickup there. I really do. Makes a lot of sense.
But it don't matter who the coach is. They got to find a quarterback.
Yeah, with a team. I'm not talking about Jones going there. I'm talking about. Do you think Atlanta, with the way they've played this year, they've played fairly well? Do you think they're going to be in the market for a quarterback?
They should be. Yes, I think that's the one thing that's kind of holding them back early, in my opinion. Their defense is decent. They got a lot of weapons on offense, but
do you think there's anybody out there in the league that they could get and plug in that would help? I mean, yeah, there's a lot of them, but I mean, it would be available. Do you think they would take a shot on Fields?
They might. I can see them maybe taking a shot on a guy like Fields if he's available. Trying to think who might be available. What's the? They need to figure something out at that quarterback. I don't think Ritter's the answer.
I think he's probably a solid backup, but I think that's probably it.
And if they don't, I hate to say, because I like the coach there, that Smith. But if they don't, if they don't figure out the quarterback position, he's not going to be there too long.
Yeah, I don't know who they're going to draft at, but I could see them trying to move up and trying to get a quarterback.
And that's the other thing that makes it hard, because you need these quarterbacks, but to get them, you need a high draft pick, and to get the high draft pick, you got to suck. Well, then if you suck, you're going to lose your. There's a good chance you're going to lose your job, especially the way some of these owners are now. I mean, they'll get rid of you before. I mean, not even give you a whole season. So, Frank Wright got 11 games. Which that owner there, that dude, he'll fire anybody. He don't give a fuck.
I think
if I'm a head coach looking for a job in the NFL, that'd be the last place I want to go.
Yeah, I don't think
because you're not going to get you can't depend on getting any support from the owner, because things start going bad. You're probably you're first one out the door.
The owner made some of the decisions and things went bad, and he fired the coach.
Yeah, and then his press conference yesterday, he was trying to act like they still believed in Young, but the way his press conference came off was like he's mad because they didn't get Stroud. It's like, dude, you can't have it both. You can't have it both ways.
I've seen an interesting comparison today for Jordan Love and Rodgers. I don't know if you've seen it. Had Rodgers' first season and Jordan's Love first season. Their stats right now are 100% exactly the same. Same wins, same losses, same touchdown, same interception. I mean, it's yards, everything.
He's shown flashes this year, man. That Thanksgiving Day game, man, he looked real good. He's shown some flashes. And
his receivers don't help him a whole lot either.
But yeah, he's shown flashes where he's looked like he could be a guy.
Drop a lot of balls. The receiving core. The receiver core.
They got a real young receiving core too. I think most of them are either rookies or second year guys. So they don't have really no veterans in that receiving core anymore.
Yeah, but ball hits you in the hand, hits you in the
chest. Oh no, I agree. Look at Kansas City. They can't get. You got one of the best quarterbacks.
San Diego too. I mean, not San Diego. Excuse me, the Chargers. They have some, and they got some good receivers, but they have some issues hanging on to the damn ball.
Yeah, that team is. They might be the most talented team that I've ever watched that loses all the damn time. Because they just
right now Buffalo's finding ways to lose. Bills, they're 6-6. Who would have thought that?
Yeah, but the Chargers have done it for
they've
a couple of years now.
But right now, somebody was talking about, man, Philadelphia finds a way to lose. I say Philadelphia finds a way to lose, and Buffalo finds a way, or Philadelphia finds a way to win, and Buffalo finds a way to lose.
Yeah. I think there's some locker room problems going on there in Buffalo.
I think he's got a name. I think his name might be Diggs. This is my opinion.
Glenn said, I got a bet for you. Odds Glenn wins Colts Steeler tickets. Minus 500.
I bet you we got a friend going that game. I bet.
Oh, I'm sure he is.
He's a huge Steeler fan, so I got a feeling my friend Billy will be at the game.
He's always at a game somewhere.
You never know where he's going to show up.
But all right, before we get out of here, my picks are 679 and 516 on the year. Tonight, NFL Thursday Night Football, taking Seahawks plus 9.5 and the under the 47.5. NBA, Nets minus 8.5. Pacers on the money line and the over the 238 in the Pacers and Heat game. Bucks minus 8.5 and the Timberwolves minus 10.5. College basketball tonight, Creighton minus 7.5 over Oklahoma State. Oregon State minus 2.5 against UC Davis, and Butler minus 2.5 against Texas Tech. And in NHL tonight, Maple Leafs money line against the Kraken, Lightning money line against the Penguins, Blues money line versus the Sabres, and the Stars money line against the Flames.
Okay, my picks for tonight: NFL, I got Dallas minus 9.5 in Seattle. I've got NBA, Indiana at Miami under the 238. I got Atlanta at San Antonio under the 247.5. And I got the Lakers at OKC under the 233. Then in hockey, I have Chicago at Detroit money line, Florida money line at Montreal, San Jose at Boston. I'll take Boston money line, and I got Vegas money line at Vancouver. That's my picks for tonight.
All right. Well, we appreciate everybody watching. We'll be back tomorrow, right around 3 o'clock, with another episode of Easy Money, a sports betting show. We'll give our picks for, big weekend in sports. You got college football conference championship games kicking off tomorrow. Big game tomorrow night, Oregon and Washington. Of course, that'll go on all weekend. Plus, you got NFL, plus college basketball, NHL, and all that stuff. But it'll be a big weekend for football this weekend, especially in college football. As we're getting on Sunday, they'll announce the college football playoffs. Who's going to be the top four? Going to be could be some controversy, especially if Florida State wins this weekend against Louisville.
Yeah, I know.
And then what happens in some of these other games? What happens if Alabama beats Georgia? I mean, there's a scenario where no SEC team even gets in the college football playoffs, which would be crazy. Yeah. So I mean, I guess there could be a scenario almost of no Big Ten team get in. So.
That'd be crazy if it happened. But well, I don't know. I don't know if a 2-team loss can get in. I know. I watched that college football show, and all the guys on there said that if Florida State wins, they're in. Yeah. So we'll see.
I think them not having their starting quarterback's going to hurt them. Going to hurt them, especially if Oregon beats Washington, avenges their only loss. I mean, what? So it's going to be interesting to see what all happens.
Well, I think if Oregon they'd go in and Washington goes out, but I think if Florida State goes, I think Ohio State be out. I think Texas will be out.
Yeah, I don't. I think I'd put Texas in over Florida State.
Let me ask you though: does Oregon go to 3 and Florida State to 4, stay at 4, or does Oregon State?
I think if Florida State gets in, they're going to be 4. Okay. And if you're Michigan or Georgia, whoever gets that number 1. That's what you want. You want Florida State to get it and be that number 4 because you're going to feel better about that game than you are against other games.
Georgia beats Alabama, Michigan beats Iowa. I can't see Michigan jumping over Georgia because Georgia's number 1. If Georgia beats Alabama, so I think Georgia's going to be the number 1. I think Michigan's going to be the number 2 if they both win. That's just my opinion.
Yeah, well, I think it depends on how the games go too. Because if Georgia barely beats Alabama, and Michigan kills Iowa, even though I think Alabama's a better team than Iowa. But you know how the eye test can be.
They're going to have to beat them by 30 points.
You know what I'm saying? You know how the eye test can be. So it's going to be it's going to be interesting on Sunday. See what happens with that. But we'll be back tomorrow right around 3 o'clock. Another episode of Easy Money, a sports betting show. If you missed our interview last night with FEW owner Alex Bolton, go check it out. You can find it on YouTube and Facebook at Gonzo Sports Room. We will be at FEW this Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern, live on YouTube. They have a good card. Should be a great show. Looking forward to that. Blake Money Wright is on the card. A lot of people watch our show know who he is. Former Ring of Honor world champion Michael Elgin is on the card. Putting names together now.
Yeah.
Make them own damn wrestlers. And that would be a good combination, though. You put Michael Elgin and Blake Money Wright together, that'd be a hell of a combination.
Maybe that's his brother or his son, Blake Elgin.
But it's going to be a good card. So join us on YouTube Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern for that. If you're in the area, come to Greenfield, go check it out live. Sounds like this venue is pretty cool venue. So it should be a great show that day. Then we'll have some other stuff coming up here real soon on the wrestling side. But we appreciate everybody watching. We'll see you guys tomorrow.